Are you a part of motorcycle history? What's up, frothy guys? Let's get into some Yamaha stuff. Let's listen to this documentary. Let's get into it. How about it? Let's go.
The Yamaha R1, a motorcycle that makes music.
You see something with motion, maybe
It makes
slow
music.
down, really is like music, which kind of makes sense given Yamaha's history with musical instruments.
With musical instruments. You get it, man. Oh!
From music to motorcycles, Yamaha has always focused on beauty and design.
Beauty.
We were the last Japanese company to
Oh,
begin
sort of.
making motorcycles, but the first to emphasize what a motorcycle looked like.
What it's meant to look
One of
like.
the things you'll hear from Yamaha a lot is the phrase condo.
It's Kawasaki Joe! It's Kawasaki Joe. You guys listen to my Kawasaki video. It's him.
Kondo
You know
is
it's
an
him.
old Japanese philosophy, describing how music and beauty impact the human spirit.
We didn't just sell pianos, we sold the enjoyment of music.
You hear that? It's music,
But
man.
could Kondo sell motorcycles?
Can it?
Simple, compact, powerful. That has been our design concept from the very first motorcycle.
3 words, dude. Music. Badass. Cool. Those are my words, not theirs.
Two very different kinds of music, both influenced by the impact of beauty on human emotions.
Yeah, back when.
ビューティー、
Beauty.
パフォーマンス。
I didn't say it like that. You didn't hear
How
that.
did Yamaha connect the ancient Japanese philosophy of kondo to bikes? And why did the largest piano company in the world decide to make music with a motorcycle?
Oh, that 2005 like era. The inline 4, back when the R1 was just an inline 4. I love these documentaries, man. You gotta get ready to twist the throttle. That's all it takes. Here we are with the music again. If you didn't forget, it was from Japan. In case you forgot, we're Oriental. Sakura trees, beautiful. Asian country. Here we are.
Every year from late March to early May, it's cherry blossom season in Japan.
Yep. Season of love.
In a tradition dating back to the 8th century,
Oh,
the Japanese take a break from school or work to stroll among the blossoms.
it's a long time ago. 8th century? Damn, dude.
The tradition is called haname, the Japanese version of literally taking time to stop and smell the roses.
Literally. But they're not roses. They're sakura trees.
Haname is just one expression of kondo, the Japanese philosophy describing how beauty impacts the human senses.
That's how you know Yamaha's legit. Look at that piano, dude.
Kondo can describe the sound of a Yamaha piano that represents more than a century of unmatched musical craftsmanship.
Yeah, man. It's music to your ears, dude.
Hamamatsu, Japan. It was here in the year 1900 that Torakusu Yamaha crafted the first piano ever made in his country.
Mr.
He's the
Torakusu
OG.
Yamaha originally only repaired pianos, which in the late 1800s were only imported from Europe. Then he learned how to build his own piano and started his own music business.
Soon, Japan was no longer importing pianos. Instead, the new Yamaha Music Company began exporting pianos all over the world.
All over, man.
One of the key things that helped create Yamaha pianos was that in this region of Japan, there was a lot of lumber that was especially good for producing great pianos.
Look at them trees, man. They'll produce music.
By 1904, a Yamaha piano was on display at the World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri.
The 3 tuning forks. You hear about that later. I love the cheesy
Today,
2000s
at the
music.
Yamaha Motor Company Museum in suburban Hamamatsu, the company still honors its history as the world's largest piano manufacturer, with a baby grand sitting center stage.
Yep. A baby grand with the motorcycle. You know, that's just literally heritage right there, dude.
A 3-pointed tuning fork is Yamaha.
You gonna touch my heart? Oh yeah,
It is
you
more
got
than
me,
just
baby.
a simple connection between music and machines. It's a constant reminder that Kondo, the impact of beauty on the senses, is at the very core of the company.
A lot of people are surprised to
music.
find out that those are tuning forks, even though they look like it, but people don't make the connection right away until they kind of get involved with motorcycling and find out that the tuning forks are Yamaha, even on a motorcycle. So the connection is there from the musical instrument thing right down to the two-wheelers.
From the musical
Coming out of
instrument
World
to
War
the
II,
2 wheels, man. That's
No
deep.
one in Japan needed a piano. Daily living was focused on survival, shelter, food, and inexpensive transportation.
Yeah.
So Yamaha asked itself what it could do to stay in business.
After y'all shit got blown up, yeah. Make motorcycles cheap, effective.
The answer was to build motorcycles.
Oh, he said it right there.
Yamaha developed special metal technologies that were used in the design and manufacturing of pianos. After World War II, the company realized it could use these special metal technologies to make motorcycles.
Anime metal. That's how you know.
In August 1954,
The
Yamaha
first anime
introduced its
motorcycle
first
became
motorcycle, the YA1. It was a 125cc single-cylinder bike with an engine design copied from a German company,
I mean, we got it from
but its shape and colors
the Germans, but
it was immediately nicknamed the Akatumbo.
distinctively
In
3
English,
tuning forks.
Akatumbo means the red dragonfly.
This is the very first Yamaha. At that time, motorcycles in Japan were
This is
painted
the very
black,
first
and there was
person,
little
the
attention
Yamaha.
being paid to the language of sculpture and design.
Yeah.
But Yamaha put an emphasis on design, and so we created an aerodynamic shape for the fuel tank, and the overall shape was simple and compact.
It makes sense that Yamaha has always put a lot of emphasis on styling. I mean, a piano is a beautiful instrument in a lot of ways, and it has to be designed and styled. It's an aesthetic, almost a piece of working furniture, as it were. So it makes sense that Yamaha put a lot of emphasis on the look and styling of their bikes, even from day one.
Your bike is furniture and is a musical instrument. It's probably why my
Racing to catch up with
bike
other
has those
motorcycle companies,
air
Yamaha
intakes that
wasted
make
little
you
time taking
listen
the
to the
YA1
sound
racing.
from the air tanks.
In 1955, just weeks after the first YA1 had rolled off the production line, Yamaha entered the Red Dragonfly in the 2 most important races in Japan, the Mount Fuji Hill Climb and the Osama Volcano Race.
Volcanoes? Hills? Holy
The
shit,
first
dude.
motorcycles were functional bikes to get around on. They were transportation. Yamaha got into the racing thing pretty early with their win at the Mount Fuji Hill Climb. That was a big deal.
Well, good for them. Surprisingly, this video is way less cheesy than the Kawasaki one.
The Red Dragonfly,
Which is fun, but also
carried a powerful
it's kind of
steam.
not.
After winning the Mount Fuji Hill Climb, the bike won the very first running of the Osama Volcano races.
メーカーではヤマハが最高発
We had to focus on quality and performance, and racing was a good way to demonstrate those qualities.
It was like driving a piano through
So
the
we started
corners.
racing
It's like
in
playing the piano through the
1955.
corners. In case you forgot, it's Japan, so it has to sound very oriental.
Excited by its racing success, people wanted to buy the bike. By the end of 1955, Yamaha had 274 employees building 200 motorcycles a month.
That's dope. Look at that UGM masterpiece. Let's get to the next
Just 1
production.
year after entering the motorcycle business, Yamaha introduced the YD1.
D1, do one. Do that bike.
Completely new motorcycle with an engine twice as big as the Red Dragonfly. The YD1 had a 2-cylinder, 250cc engine designed by Yamaha engineers.
Probably 2 strokes, so it's kind of dope. It's kind of fast.
The YD1, our first 2-cylinder bike, is very much a Japanese original and not based on other motorcycles imported from other countries. The YA1 was partly based on a German motorcycle, but the YD1 was completely a Japanese design.
Completely.
The YD1 was
Here we
not only
go.
a 250, but it was a twin, and I think it really expanded the scope of what post-war Japanese rider could do on a motorcycle. It could take him longer distances. It was a bigger, more performance-oriented motorcycle. It kind of pointed the way to where Japan was going to go in terms of their motorcycle production.
The YD1 would become a classic statement of Yamaha's
Can you
design
taste,
philosophy.
can you feel the thirst?
全体が非常にこう
This is the first twin-cylinder Yamaha.
Yeah.
We didn't want to cover the engine or any of the other parts. Letting people see those parts was our design philosophy.
The naked bike. The naked bike was born. They're just sitting on it. They're being part of it.
Atsushi Ishiyama is the keeper of the flame for Yamaha's design philosophy.
Of the
He's
flame.
been
That's
designing
dope. That's
Yamaha
a sick-ass
motorcycles
title.
for more than 50 years.
それと同時にですねこのタン
We use color to create a two-tone fuel tank. We use the color white to make the tank shiny.
It's
in
an
the
orange
light, which makes it more
creamsicle.
beautiful.
There are times when Yamaha's really kind of
Beautiful.
stood out. Yamaha tended
Look
to
at that
take some
musical
chances
instrument.
on the
Look at that
style and
piano.
color use and everything, and it seems to have worked really well for them.
コンパクトの中に
It was the original
For them, you're trying to
Yamaha
represent them.
Supersport
You are them.
motorcycle.
Come on, man.
Just 3 years after getting into the motorcycle business, Yamaha took the next big step. They began selling motorcycles overseas.
Yeah. Get imported. That looks
In
ye old as fuck.
1958, the YD1 became the first Yamaha motorcycle ever sold in the United States.
My
Damn.
father used to ride the early Yamaha air-cooled twin two-stroke 250s. I really thought those were really cool bikes.
I think it also put a bit of a performance angle.
If he's in
into
front of
the
Laguna
Japanese
Seca, you know he's
market,
legit.
Where there maybe hadn't been one before, a performance-oriented angle, which really kind of paved the way for Yamaha and their racing success with two-strokes.
Them 2 strokes, man. Mix that fuel.
In the late 1960s, Yamaha created the first motorcycle ever designed from the ground up as a bike you could ride on the street or in the dirt. Their timing was perfect.
Perfect.
The
Like a
DT1
well-tuned
went on sale in America
piano.
as baby boomers were coming of age. Times were good. People had money, and they were looking for adventure.
People had money back then. Unlike now,
It was
2023.
the right bike at the right time.
Yeah, the right time.
The DT1
Keyword right there.
was first sold in 1968. It was really popular in the United States. It was an off-road trail bike.
Right at a time when Americans were really getting excited about motorcycling, DT1 came about and said, look, you can ride it on the street, you can ride it on the dirt. And the thing about the DT1 is it was such a good basic design.
The naked bike, man. It can do all the things right.
DT1 was another example of Kondo, the ancient philosophy of connecting shapes
Yep.
and beauty with human emotions. For American riders, the DT1 really hit an emotional chord.
The
Yes,
DT1
it
was
did.
one of those bikes that
An emotional
really
chord. I see the pun. I
caught
see
a
what you
lot
did there.
around
Hey,
and
hey.
introduced untold thousands and thousands of people into the off-road sport of motorcycling, and really bridged the gap from street to dirt riding.
Yeah. That's a little note that the American companies at the time didn't really
15 years,
hit. Well, maybe some of them
Yamaha had
did.
gone from copying a German bike to creating designs of its own.
From the help of the
DT1
Germans in
created a
World
new
War II
segment
till
of the
doing our own
motorcycle
thing.
market. What happened next would make Yamaha the second largest motorcycle company in the world.
Second largest? Did Honda beat them? Probably with their scooters. I would only assume. Honda scooters kind of took the world
In
over.
1970, Yamaha took a major risk investing serious time and money in building its first motorcycle with a 4-stroke engine.
In 1970, we built the XS1. It was a breakthrough
Back in
for
the
Yamaha
70s?
because
Damn,
it
a
had
4-stroke?
4-stroke engine. Before that time, all the motorcycles had 2-stroke engines.
Standard now.
in which the oil
That's
and
pretty crazy
gasoline
back
had to
then.
be mixed.
I know we're back at the Yamaha Museum. I do not need the Oriental music to remind me I'm in Japan.
The XS1 was called the XS 650 in the States.
Dope.
Its 2-cylinder engine was modeled after classic British designs,
2 of them?
except the Yamaha version made a lot more power.
Of course it
Yamaha
did.
650 Twin was just an amazing motor. It was very, very durable. It was fast, and it stuck around for a long time and was a basis for a lot of really good motorcycles. And it's become one of Yamaha's real classic motorcycles, the 650 Twin.
That green's pretty dope, honestly. That green and white.
The XS 650
They
is
should
one of the
replicate
most
that.
advanced engine designs of the day. But as the 1970s drew to a close, Yamaha would need a new cutting-edge design. A new bike, but one still created with a true sense of condo.
Whoa. 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 Gears, girls. Hot babes and motorcycles. Yes. Kids on bikes.
The Tokyo International Exhibition Center. Built along the Tokyo Bay, it's one of the largest venues in the city.
That's
Its
a lot of
nickname
Japanese
is
bikes.
Tokyo's big sight. The hall has 250,000 square feet of exhibition space. That's 5 football
That's a lot of
fields
space
under
to
one roof.
expose yourself.
Each year, the center hosts one of the premier motorcycle events in the world,
Of course they do.
the Tokyo International Motorcycle Show.
Snap-on even gets that far? Damn.
This is where Japanese motorcycle companies always debut their latest models to the public.
With that dang music, I know we're in Japan. I get it, man.
In 1980,
They had to
Yamaha
remind you.
introduced the RZ250 at the Tokyo Motorcycle
Oh,
Show.
damn. You're not in America anymore. You're in a foreign
It
country.
shaped
We need to
rocked
remind
the
you of this.
motorcycle world. It was Yamaha's newest expression of its classic philosophy of kondo, the impact of beauty on the senses.
Music.
人間にフィットできるように
It's very narrow. The knee grip is tight. It's a very organic design. The rider's
Trying to
body
dry
can
hump it,
fit into
dude?
the machine
Ooh.
completely. The bike and rider become one.
Oh, that's hot, dude. And that was an R6. The bike and the
Today,
rider become
kondo
one.
continues to define Yamaha's design philosophy.
Yamaha has the ability to blend that ergonomic package into a bike that gets around the racetrack really well, and also a bike that is very
Kawasaki,
streetable.
Nick!
The motorcycle can be taken out and played with in the canyons, driven to work. You can even ride it cross country if you need to, because it's not a crazy race bike.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty aggressive. I would not want to ride an R6 or an R1 across the country. Just telling you that now. I've had a ZX-10R. Do not need that.
まあこれはスケ
This is a sketch of a motorcycle that represents the union of a mechanical machine with the organic
What?
human body.
That looks like a Gek
The motorcycle
from
looks like a creature
Mass
that
Effect.
expresses the celebration of life.
the separation between Tally from Mass Effect and the Gek.
もちろん
People all over the world have a common appreciation for beauty. When we design, we think, how can we move people's hearts? We believe a motorcycle is a creature, not just a simple machine. We focus on putting emotions into motorcycles.
Emotion's a strong thing. Intelligence is smart, but emotion has 24 hours of awesomeness. Taking that R1
For
or
many riders, the ultimate impact of kondo, the way to really stir human emotion, can best be found in the heart of a full-blown sport bike.
full blown, baby. That's an R1 hitting them revs.
In 1985, we built our first sport bike, which has evolved into the R1 series today.
That music, I get it. It's from Japan. You do not need to remind me. That's ultimately
the R1
it.
series was a styling revolution that has influenced the look and shape of almost every modern sport bike.
Something animalistic
True.
and edgy, almost insect-like, with the eyes. And I think Yamaha really did kind of start the trend that you see now on everybody's big inline four-cylinder bikes, the sport bikes, is that that look that the R1 generated. It's 10 years ago. Doesn't seem like 10 years ago, but the R1 was really a breakthrough sport bike.
True. Even 10 years ago, it does
Its
look
shape
good.
is like a bullet in the wind. Much of our inspiration is taken from observing nature around us, and like living creatures in the animal world, lions and tigers, this motorcycle has two eyes.
Much like animals, they were in the forest looking at animals, dude. That's how serious Japan is. We'll go in the forest, we'll look at animals, and we're gonna make this motorcycle look like animals. Insects, almost
The R1 was
insect-like.
introduced in 1998 as Yamaha's most powerful sport bike. It had a 998cc motor producing 150 horsepower. One year
What even
later,
is a Delta
Yamaha
box 2? Is it
revealed the R6,
3 boxes
a
times
600cc
2?
middleweight version of its sport bike.
I believe if I do my math correctly, at what, that's 6?
Both machines continued the Kondo
3 triple
connection
boxes.
of man and motorcycle.
Or is that 12
The most
boxes?
important thing
My
about
bad.
The R1 is
Math is
the
shit.
performance leap it represented in 1998 when it first came out. It was like nothing else. You know, we're used to
This guy again,
incremental
yes.
increases. The next year is last year's bike plus 3%, maybe 5%, you know. Up to that point, nobody had built a leader bike quite like it.
That's how you get a real leader bike, brother. You gotta get a leader
But
bike
nobody
if
else
you're
has
gonna
spent
ride,
50
bro.
years perfecting the use of metal in a piano sounding board.
What happens when you put a
How would
piano
that
and a
help
motorcycle
Yamaha
together?
When it came time to build a bike.
To build a bike, you must put the piano in the bike and then play it. You must take stock footage of an R1 on a track and make it beautiful.
This is where the R1 and R6 are built. Yamaha's huge Iwata factory complex in Hamamatsu.
There you go, there's a source.
Iwata Building Number 1 is the final assembly plant for Yamaha sport bikes.
Only sport bikes?
On our newest bikes, the biggest challenge was developing electronic engine controls that would help the rider and provide more of a human sense or human feel to the bike.
I like how during this time is all about sport bikes. Like, this is where we sell the sport bikes. This is where the sport thing is. Anything else?
Inside the factory,
Naked bikes, anything
that
else?
human
Nope.
feel of
No
the engine is
VMAX?
checked
Nope.
by a
Sport
test
bikes.
rider on each new
Sport
bike.
bikes. It's the only thing we make. It's the most popular thing.
Each bike has what's called a fly-by-wire control system. Instead of traditional cables, a tiny computer connects the throttle with the engine. That computer can make 1,000 calculations a second as it constantly monitors and adjusts the engine's fuel and air mixture.
It's got fly-by-wire throttle, which to me, that's what we should be doing. We should be leading with technology, getting rid of cables and getting rid of those things and working toward electronics. Now, I'm not saying I want every one of my bikes to be cutting-edge technology, but when I go to the dealer to buy a new bike that I can take to the racetrack and go quick on and enjoy, I'd like it to be up at the forefront of technology.
I don't want it to be cutting edge, but I want to be at the forefront of technology. What? Just contradict yourself, Kawasaki, Nick. Damn it. No, my boy.
600cc motor in the R6 cranks out 130 horsepower. And the bike's fly-by-wire technology makes all that power available almost instantly.
Immediate throttle response, big power. For a 600, you know, one of the most powerful 600s you can buy. Just
Big
as
power.
hard-edged as anything that's ever been sold for street use.
Not the best for street use because you really got to rev it up really high. Got 16,000 RPMs, but hey,
The new
you do you,
R1
man.
engine puts out 158 horsepower sitting still.
Where's that Raven edition people love so much?
Increased performance.
Yep.
4 special vents carved into the R1's bodywork create a vacuum effect. Cold air is pushed into the engine, while hot air is drawn out
I
of the
suck
exhaust.
really well.
The special airflow adds as much as 30 horsepower when the R1 reaches top speed.
That's when you're really sucking. You're sucking real good. See, that's how well you suck. In a good way, hey.
Both the R1 and the R6 have what Yamaha calls a human feel. It's one way to describe the relationship between man and machine. A relationship based on good communication between bike and rider.
The R6 communicates, and that's why I think so many people go quick on it.
It
That's
speaks
why
to you
it's
like a
secret.
piano. It's like
And that's why so many people
ding,
with
ding,
the R6,
ding,
it
ding.
talks to you
That was
and
that
tells
was
you
no.
where the
You did
line
not
is.
hear that from me.
The R6 is light and quick and very easy to turn.
I was not reminding you what part of the world we're in, like every other segment of this video. You did not hear that. Oh, you're not hearing an isekai. You just got ran over by a box truck in Japan. You're now in an isekai.
Since 1998. Things here change quickly, with new R1 and R6 models being introduced every other year.
Why not every year?
The development of a sport bike is very difficult because as soon as a new model is ready for production, you must begin designing the next model that will replace it.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess I should
There's
just
one
listen.
constant here. Each new motorcycle reflects Yamaha's philosophy of making motorcycles that look good and are fun to ride.
Our emphasis in building sport bikes is to make them handle very well in corners and accelerate very quickly because that's the way many people like to ride.
Well, the R6 and the R1. It's so funny. During the 2000s, it was all about the super sports. This is all we make. They're hard on the corners. They're hardcore. They're the super sports. That's all we deal in. Everything is crotch rockets.
Riders enjoy the beauty of our motorcycles. So we think it's important to study beauty and figure out ways to balance the beauty of the bikes with the performance of the bikes.
Beauty and
Or
art
the
shouldn't be
crescendo.
separated from performance and efficiency. And Yamaha has that pretty clearly. You look at the way their bikes flow together and the way they choose the materials, even the colors, right? Even the wheel colors and the way they finish the fork legs. You can see Kondo in those bikes.
I see your musical meme. I see your reference. I love you, Kawasaki,
in terms
Nick.
of styling, because they established a look and they haven't really departed from that look. You see an R1, you know it's an R1.
True. Even to today. It's pretty obvious. Even when it's a cross-plane and inline 4. I like that because I got an MT10. That's my Yami.
More than an hour for a new R1.
But according to this video, it's an R1 or an R6. That's all they have. They just have super sports. There's nothing else. There's no VMAX. There's no naked bikes. There's nothing else. There's no YZ dirt bikes.
When it's finished, it's more than a motorcycle. It's a mechanical object designed to marry man with machine.
It's a tiny piano.
Yamaha fits me perfectly. The R1, the way the bars come back, the way the fuel tank is made and sculpted, the way the seat and the foot pegs relate, it just fits me. Just my personal, I like it.
He is way more clean in this video than the Kawasaki one. Let me tell you that, boy.
Fit different bikes, but isn't that a big part of the sport? Is what fits you, what makes you feel right. It makes me feel like a Grand Prix racer when I ride it.
Same song, but the Kawasaki one video is way more crazy.
Or feeling side of the R1. That's Kondo. But would Kondo keep Yamaha successful on the racetrack?
I'm assuming that's a musical
The only way to
term,
find
and
out
I'm
is for
smart for
Yamaha
knowing
Go
that.
Racing at the World Championship level.
It's like piano, it's a crescendo, it's a musical instrument. Tune my fork, baby. Kawasaki, Nick getting it. No, I'm not actually sure that's him, but he's getting it, dude.
To get into the motorcycle business,
Fits me just perfectly.
Yamaha has always used racing as a way to catch up.
True. Well, nice wheelie.
Yamaha has used racing to develop its motorcycles since the beginning of the company. Racing is a real-world laboratory. We develop new technologies and our engineers learn from racing.
You know you sound smart when you're British, so hire a British girl. It will sound super smart. Laguna Seca, man. There's the Kawasaki, so I feel like they record this video on the same day. Like, we'll talk about Yamahas and then Kawasaki's. I'm gonna check it to see if Honda or Suzuki have a video like this. We'll see.
Played a huge role in Yamaha's racing history. In 1978, Kenny Roberts became the first American to ever win a world championship.
This is the bike and the man that cooked so many of us on motorcycle riding and sport bikes. Kenny Roberts
cooked
on a
us hot.
Yamaha YZR 500.
Thank me for my cervix.
Roberts was not only a remarkable rider, he was a self-taught engineer. He helped Yamaha develop a new aluminum chassis and suspension system for his race bikes. He came up with the idea of using a smaller diameter tire on the front wheel compared to the back. It made the bike more stable at high speeds, but harder to slow down going into corners. Roberts didn't seem to mind the trade-off.
And so we
Roberts
all
was
live with this
also one of the
decision
first
today.
riders anywhere that used his knee to balance a bike in a corner.
Oh shit, the first knee dragger. You heard it first, boys and girls. 180 back then? Oh shit.
This guy, Roberts, and his bike.
This guy.
So Yamaha put him on the map. Here's an American going over and winning the world championship on a Yamaha.
No shit.
In 1983, Eddie Lawson, a young rider from California, joined Kenny Roberts on the Yamaha team.
They put him on Yamaha over there, teaming with Roberts. Robert showed him the ropes, and then Lawson just took over.
Well, the second knee dragger.
Lawson was known as Steady Eddie. He won 3
Steady
world
Eddie,
championships
my
and set
boy.
the stage for a third American.
Even in the rain.
Wayne Rainey.
Checking out Lawson's bike is
I wasn't
an
even
example
born
of
yet,
the progression of
motherfucker.
Yamaha, and he developed that bike into something that Wayne Rainey then took on and won championships with.
Legit.
Wayne Rainey not only won championships, but did it 3 years in a row. From 1990 to 1993, he was unbeatable, winning 3 consecutive world titles.
Wayne is an amazing guy, amazing rider.
Smoke Marlboros.
Fastest guy in the world 3 years in a row. And really, someone.
You won't
that
see
I
those
tried to pattern my
sponsorships
riding after
in
as
this
much
day
as
and
I could.
age. I guarantee you
Never
that, boy.
riding
Showy helmets, though. I'm all about that. I love the showy. You'll never see Marlboro in cigarettes.
Wayne Rainey rode a Yamaha race bike called the YZR 500.
Case in point.
It was wickedly fast, with the
Wicked.
emphasis on wickedly.
On Wickedly.
There was times,
And pianos.
not a lot of times, that I could ride the bike and be ahead of the bike, and I was in control totally. I knew exactly what the bike was going to do before it did it.
He could see into the future, dude. He was ahead of the
Those
bike.
four-cylinder two-strokes were just nasty.
Well, by then it was a
ugly
4-stroke,
things that would
so.
throw you off at just about every moment.
I mean, that.
In
Oh,
the early
that one,
1990s,
yes.
Grand Prix bikes were notorious for being very unpredictable in how their engines delivered power.
I was like, that was back with Laguna Seca and inline 4s.
90 horsepower. to
80s
an
one, yeah,
150
two-stroke.
horsepower in the matter of, a few hundred feet.
Yeah.
And that's where the thing exploded, and that's where they were the most difficult to ride.
When they exploded, I would hope not.
I got on Rainey's 500.
that two-stroke
and
mixture?
It wheelied out of turn 2 in 4th gear. It wheelied in 4th gear at well over 100 miles an hour.
They could get away from
Yeah,
it so
I love
easy
William in 4th.
because of that burst of horsepower.
After one lap, I had to take a lap off. I was shaking so badly. My hands were so pumped up. My eyes were a little bit bigger than that. I was completely freaked
Those are
out
like
by it.
anime eyes,
I
dude. Those,
remember
that's
telling Wayne,
ooh-woo. He
how
was
could you
ooh-wooing
possibly
hard, dude.
ride that anywhere near anybody else? How could you race anybody with that thing? It was so fast.
A lot of the time,
It was
we
so
felt
fast, my
like we
anime
riding
eyes were like,
motorcycles
ooh, I love you. That's
that
not
has,
that I owe.
that didn't want to be ridden in a straight line, that's for sure.
Oh, that's a hard shot to drag, boys. Fast cars do a hard. Fast vehicles do a hard line fast, but fast drivers or riders take corners hard. On Laguna Seca. Oh shit! Popping that 4th wheelie, 4th gear.
This is Wayne Rainey's favorite racetrack.
Laguna
The
Seca?
Laguna Seca Motor
Yep.
Speedway.
It's the only
in
one.
Monterey,
You know I played
California.
Forza. Come on, man.
We're one of
You
the
know me.
top
You know your boy.
10 road courses in the world, and because of its technicalities and because of its elevation changes.
I mean, Yokohama has that tire, dude. Japan
First
has the
developed
roots
as a
in there.
horse ranch in 1867.
Oh, that's 1 horsepower right there. That's the
land
original
became
horsepower.
Port Ord in 1917. The U.S. Army used it as an artillery range.
Whoa.
In 1957, local businessmen bought the land and carved the racetrack through the hills.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
But the track wouldn't stay in private hands for long.
It is owned now by Monterey County Parks. It is a park. It operates as a park every day.
And our neighbors constantly bitch about the noise, the story of every racetrack. And yet you moved here.
A park that would become Wayne Rainey's backyard.
Yeah. I'd be happy if Laguna Seca was in my backyard. Much like PIR, so shut up, you whiny little bitch.
Rainey bought a house and moved to Monterey just to be close to the track.
Exactly.
Just one example.
You
of
live
the
right next to a
motorcycle.
racetrack. That's sick. Come on,
Wayne
man.
certainly had a tremendous impact on this facility.
Doing that every other day? You betcha. That's what I'd be doing. That's what I want to be doing, ideally. Hitting that 2004 to 06, I don't know. I'm new to
In the
Yamahas.
90s, Grand Prix bikes were so fast, Laguna Seca was no longer considered a safe racetrack.
It's no longer a safe racetrack, what?
Wayne Rainey convinced Yamaha to fund a total renovation of the track. Rainey is the man who brought international motorcycle racing back to Laguna Seca.
All of us that have been lucky enough to attend the Grand Prix at Laguna Seca should thank Wayne Rainey. He's the one who really forced it together. I think he just basically browbeat Yamaha into sponsoring the deal and putting up the money to make Laguna Seca a Grand Prix venue.
We needed to do about $3 million worth of safety improvements.
What's a
with the
Grand
riders,
Prix? I didn't know it was
and
called
Yamaha
Grand
was
Prix.
right
It's
there.
Grand Prix. Is that the correct nomenclature for it? I'm not sure. Let me know.
After months of renovations,
Grand Prix?
Grand Prix racing
Grand
returned to
Prix?
Laguna Seca in 2006.
Alright.
It is the only
That's a big-ass
international
paddock.
race run in a county park.
Yeah.
It's a day in a loud park, and people bring their blankets and their coolers, and they sit on the side of the hill and they watch racing, and it really is a family affair.
But even less so now. Because no one watches racing anymore unless it's on streaming.
Yamaha and Rainey share a long, successful history at Laguna Seca. Rainey won 3 Grand Prix races here.
Suck our champagne and choke down our cigarettes.
And after he retired, turn 9 was named Rainey Curve in his honor.
Well, damn. That's legit. I hate that corner in Forza. Motherfucker. It's a love-hate relationship. It's a hard one, but it's a fun one. Rainy corner. God damn it. I didn't know that.
But right before Rainey Curve are turns 8
Rainy
and 8A,
Curve.
known the world over as the corkscrew.
Yeah, the corkscrew.
There's blind corners, there's fast corners, there's off camber,
It's the
there's
Yamaha
right left,
corner.
The famous corkscrew.
I mean, you can sit in Italy and listen to the Grand Prix being broadcast in Italian, and they use the words "the corkscrew." I mean, it's that type of a venue and a feature.
And El Pasta and El Spaghetti and El Corkscrew. I didn't mean it like that. Don't even at me, bro.
The corkscrew is one of the most difficult corners on any racetrack in the world.
Now this is Laguna Seca
It is a
documentary?
blind left-hand turn, followed by an immediate sharp right, as the road drops 300 feet down a hill.
You could actually get both wheels off the ground when you change direction. Going down the corkscrew.
The corkscrew is one of those things that every lap through it, I don't care how fast or how slow, it's always going to open your eyes and really make you take a big deep breath when you go off of it.
Way different mindset going through there than it is anywhere else on the track.
Generic dad rock.
He just wanted to win really, really badly, and so does.
Well, everyone wants to win really, really badly.
They get into some pretty heated battles over the years.
And I guess the problem I had was I was always trying to chase that guy Rainey through it. So maybe the front wheel was in the air, but it isn't really where I wanted it to be. It was the only way I could try and keep him in sight was if I wheelied all the way through it.
Wheelied all the way to the corkscrew, man.
Are two of the
Got
heroes
pulse
for
pitches.
younger generations of American motorcycle racers.
We looked up to guys like Wayne and Kevin Swantz who had these incredible heated battles, plus they're Americans, you cheered for them. They were your heroes.
Betcha.
Today, when professional riders tackle Laguna Seca, they always have a plan of attack for the corkscrew.
Gonna fuck it.
But amazingly, when they built Laguna Seca, the corkscrew wasn't planned at all.
Oh.
It just happened one day at lunch.
This is still a Laguna Seca documentary.
At the end of the day. So after the bulldozers and
This is
everything had gone
Yamaha's
out,
biggest claim to fame is holding this one corkscrew,
then we decided how the track was
iconically.
going to go. The corkscrew happened that way. We got to the top of the hill. The construction boss said, "I'm going for lunch. Get down this hill any way you can. The pavers are right behind you." Hence the most famous turn in the world, the corkscrew.
And if we have an R1 taking that corner from the mid-2000s, it's our corkscrew, man. We screwed that cork. We made that wine.
You're going along at 180 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and you have to brake in less than
And if you have a problem with that wine, you choose to go with that wine. So quit whining. Right or left, and then the right, and then the left, or rather, to the left, and then the right. Oh!
Somewhere back on turn 6 and collect it next time around.
The whole time you're white knuckling. You're scared, and you go, "Oh God, I'm coming into rainy curve."
Dude, how many times can you run that R1 stock footage around the corkscrew? God damn it. Can we get back to the Yamaha part? Oh, this video's getting kind of dragging on. I'm sorry, this video's way less cheated than the Kawasaki one. Oh, we're back to the Oriental music to remind you it's
Nearly
Japan.
6,000 miles to the west is another racetrack with a strong connection to Yamaha.
Okay, I'll let it run.
The difference is that this racetrack is private.
I like how I just looked at it and then it changed from Laguna Seca to something else.
This is Yamaha's private test track in Fukuroi, about 10 miles from Hamamatsu, Japan.
Okay, that's pretty dope. Let's listen. Let's see.
Test tracks are even more difficult.
Oh wow, it's
than
an R1.
racetracks. They're intentionally designed with real-world bumps and oddly shaped corners because the goal is to push new bikes to the absolute limit.
Fukuroi, what an amazing world this is. This and other test tracks that manufacturers use. They get a chance to take their production or pre-production motorcycles into an environment that they think they'll be used on. So, for instance, the R1 should be tested on a racetrack.
Expectantly.
The R1 and R6 were both tested at Fukuroi. In fact,
Yeah, the showy
since
boy. That's my boy.
1969,
That's my helmet boy.
Every bike Yamaha has ever made has been ridden here.
Really? Everyone? Even the
Some by factory test riders, others by Yamaha's world-class racers.
At the Yamaha test track, they had a straightaway that was
Was
just about a
Rossi
mile
there?
long. They would test, their street bikes and their race bikes. I remember going down the straightaway there, and they had sensors down the straightaway, and they could measure trap speeds, acceleration speeds, and it went 206 miles an hour. That was back in 1990, and so we thought we had a real weapon that year.
Of course you did.
And that year we did. We went on to win my first world championship.
Like his humbleness. That dude's dope. It's a bad mopo right there with that moppy haircut. You can smoke your ass on any street or any track, even in Japan. He's your yammy boy.
What they learned with Wayne Rainey and his prototype race bikes at Fukuroi in the early 90s played a major role in the design of the new R1 and R6 sport bikes for street riders.
We have a strong relationship with our racing department. We share the same designers. When we develop a new model, we get all kinds of information, including the latest racing technology.
In the homologations, it's the race model with headlights and a tail light. That's true though.
The
You gotta know.
R6 frame comes straight from what Yamaha engineers have learned from racing. It's strong, light, and remarkably compact. Put that all together,
Unlike a
and you
piano.
have a motorcycle that really likes to carve through the corners. That's great on the street, but at Fukuroi, good handling is an absolute requirement.
R6 is a different bike. I mean, of any of the 600s,
As he stares into the void.
you get on that bike, the harder you ride it on the track, the better it works.
What really strikes me every time I ride an R6 is how unbelievably quick you can go into and through corners. The chassis is so hooked up, it's got so much front tire communication, and that's what a rider wants at any level.
A tight little package.
What the tires are doing.
That's what he said in the Kawasaki video. I'm just paraphrasing. But in this video, he's way more clean. Kawasaki Nick, I love you.
Cornering is the most important part of having fun on a sport bike. Our focus is on
True.
how fast we can go through
Cornering.
corners and
You
how
heard
fast
that,
we can
local
accelerate
boys.
coming out of them.
You gotta know how to do them corners. You gotta eat up them chicken strips. When you're on that private track in Japan, man, that would be a dream.
There is a direct link between the very first Yamaha and the
Finally,
newest
it's not an
R1
R6 or an R1. Oh wait, now it's back to
That link
everything in the
is
2000s,
Yamaha's dedication
R6
to
or
Kondo,
R1. There's nothing else
and a
other
design
than their first or
philosophy
second
that has
bike.
never changed.
Simple, light, compact, powerful.
Simple, light, compact, powerful. That has been our design concept from the very first motorcycle, and it continues today.
I thought it was supposed to be three
Even
things,
when a
like the
designer's
three tuning
idea of
forks.
beauty threatens to compromise performance, Yamaha doesn't flinch.
I
I'll
flinched.
give you an example. Imagine that a designer creates a beautiful exhaust system, but the shape reduces power. When that happens, we challenge our engineers to find other ways to recover the power. Often, this requires additional effort, but we want to keep the beauty.
There are other bikes that are R6s or R1s. Oh, is there other racing bikes? God damn it. You have such a bigger line. Show the other line. If they made
They've established
a documentary like this
themselves
today, it would be
as
way different.
a style, which is pretty much unlike anybody else, because particularly for a Japanese manufacturer to have that kind of longevity for a design that communicates the same basic excitement from the beginning is pretty unusual.
Dude, just say it. Where's my piano-based musical anatomy? Just say it, man. I want to hear it.
The R1 and the R6 are
It's
not
like a
the only
crescendo.
special ones. Yamaha has always made motorcycles that focus on the human element. We think that the R1 and R6 are extensions of that philosophy. We have no intention of changing our way of thinking.
Finally, it comes back around to the piano.
From music to motorcycles,
Oh, we're almost over. Yeah.
Yamaha has held true to a unique way of thinking for more than a century.
Can you listen to that tune even though the R6 is only race only and the R1's cross-plane now?
Focusing on beauty and human emotions continues to impact the very latest instruments and motorcycles that bear the tuning fork logo.
Get tuned, dude. I gotta tune my bike. Now that I think about it.
Defines Rainey in my mind and the enthusiast's mind is his absolute passion for racing a motorcycle, his intensity, just the way he rides, the way he sits up on the brakes. I can remember when I was racing, I would try to sit up on the brakes like Rainey. I mean, that's really the way I thought about it. Having him come in and out of the bubble and up on the brakes and turn the bike and just with that intensity and that efficiency and fastest guy in the world 3 years in a row. And really someone that I tried to pattern my riding after as much as I could.
Betcha. Alright, fools, stay frothy. So, got a bunch of links to all my new shit. Check it out. So, yeah. Keep the rubber side down.